Hey, it's Shop Talk, baby. This is the show where it's okay to be you. We're talking from Yale to jail and from the church house to the pimp house. Nothing's excluded on Shop Talk. So if you don't have a phone, I suggest you borrow one. Call in and voice your opinion live every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Yeah, that's right, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Don't forget to Shop Talk with your girl, because right here, we keeps it real.
Hey, lovely people. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Shop Talk with Mel. I am your girl, Mel. We got a great show for you today. I miss you guys. I hope you missed us too, because it's been a minute. It's definitely been a minute. We got a great show planned for you today. We have an author. We have an author, because everybody teased me the way I'll be saying Arthur. They be like, it's Arthur. Anyway, we have the author of Triangle Games. It's a deep book. Dr. Houston is in the building, so let's give it up for Dr. Houston.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. So much. Yeah.
We gotta do it right. Here we go. It's been a minute. I got to be ready. The sound effects is amazing. Here, we got Nick the Voice. Everybody know Nick the Voice in the building. And we also have Roogle the Movie Guy in the building. All right, Roogle. He's nodding his head. He ain't saying nothing because we can't hear him, okay?
Still on mute.
Right, because he's still on mute.
Well, because a car pulled up playing music, and I didn't want to interrupt. I'm on location.
You're on location, live on location. That's how it always works. But isn't that something with the music blasting? Like, I don't want to hear your music. Like, we still doing that? We still doing that in 2000? Your music blasting? Let's hear it. Go ahead. Let's hear it. I'll make sure I put it on the rights. Go ahead, Roogle. Unmute yours.
No, it wasn't loud or intrusive or nothing. It was a lady pulling up, and she kind of heard you like, oh, people's music, and she walked away all quickly.
Good.
That's all right. We in the inner city of Youngstown right now on Mark Street at a nail salon. You know, people coming up and pretty much soliciting the place. I guess that's good for local business. Everybody has on their masks as they enter.
Wait,
yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
wait, back up. You can't say soliciting the place and think I'm going to sit on that. What do you mean by soliciting the place? So other people are outside the nail salon doing their thing?
No, I just mean that customers are coming up to make
patronize?
Patronize. Maybe I used the wrong word.
Okay, so tell me this. How many people in that salon?
I don't know. I'm outside.
You live on location.
In my car. In the parking lot.
You need to go on so we can pull it up put it on the website. Be like, look how many people.
But from what I see, there's probably about like maybe 5 or 6. It's 5, 6 cars probably.
Okay, so is the shower
pulled up?
Is the shower curtain still there? Remember how they were doing when we first started the whole COVID and they had the shower curtains in between? And
I'm not going into that place.
Okay, wait, but can't you see? Can't you like look through a window?
Nah. I can't look through the window. I'm in the back.
Oh, you parked in the back.
Yeah.
Okay, now I get it. So you at the salon, parked in the back. I don't know about that. That must be like one of them houses.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a house changed into a salon. Would that be gentrification?
Yeah.
Dr. Houston, would that be considered gentrification?
No.
I want you to go in and look. But okay, all right, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop after I say this part. Now you saw at the beginning when we was allowed to go back outside. And they had the shower curtains on a rod in the salons talking about, okay, but it was still the same building. The shower curtain didn't go to the ceiling. It was just like a rod across and the shower curtain was just hanging. So, heat rises, right? I mean, like, it can't go around the shower curtain. I just didn't understand the logic of it as far as what are we doing? Is that for the social distancing? Like, help me.
Well, I think the issue would be the distance in between customers, but I think, like, I don't know what kind of like air system they have in there or what have you, but to me it's like this. It's not like, hey,
it's a nail salon, not a cigar bar, so we already know they ain't got no proper ventilation.
Well, I mean, they gotta have some kind of ventilation because of all the chemicals and stuff, right?
I don't know, because they was wearing masks a long time ago.
Yeah. You know what? From my perspective, I didn't really think it was a trip worth making, but it's not me, and I guess other people feel like they want to make sure that their manis and petties are taken care of, I suppose, and maybe that's a practice of good health too, because maybe they scratching the hell out of somebody in the bed with them talons or whatever.
Why they got to be talons though?
Right.
Right, he'd be like, ah! I can't even make an eagle screech, but this.
Well, speaking of that, you at the nail salon. Let's just go ahead and touch bases on Pelosi, and then we're gonna talk to Dr. Houston about his book, Pelosi. Now they have a video out there. They say Pelosi don't want you to see that. She didn't have a mask on in the salon. Do you wear a mask at the barbershop? I want to ask you guys.
I haven't been to the barbershop yet, but I don't know how I would be able to get a full barber shave in and around here with any type of mask on. And I don't know if that's going to prevent me from spreading anything or catching anything because there's so many surfaces and somebody has to literally be touching around your head the entire time with whatever they've been touching. So I don't know if the mask is going to give me that much more prevention if I did go to the shop. Okay.
What about you, Roogle?
I haven't been to a barber shop since this whole thing started. I did shave though a little bit today, as you can look and see.
I see
Abraham Lincoln, and I kind of twisted it up a little bit.
You looking hot. You looking hot today.
Well, it must be official because it's on Shop Talk with Melio. But I for one, I mean, not that I wouldn't think that my barber would take those precautions, but just, if you want to cut down the spread, it's some things you got to sacrifice, right? And maybe that's one of those things for me personally. I'm like, well, what can I do just to get by? And that's what I did, because I mean, it got to be tough for them, with those small businesses and stuff like that. But the barber I do go to, he actually, can I mention him?
Give him a shout out.
Person Champ.
Oh, my brother. Yeah. Yes, you can definitely mention him.
So like when the way his thing is set up, even if there's a lot of space in between the units, right?
Okay.
So you're not really on top of people, and there's like a couple, like it's like different rooms and stuff. It's like a house that's been
modified for a barber.
Modified for that, yeah. So I would feel safe in that environment, but it's just like for me, it just hasn't been a priority for me.
You know what? That's interesting that you would say that because I notice most men of a certain age, I'm gonna go with I'll say 35 and up. They can shave.
Watch yourself.
I'm being careful. I'm being very careful. That's why I said 35 and up. Now y'all can say what y'all want to say, how old y'all are, but noticing that the men that are 35 and up, they know how to shave themselves. They know how to cut their own hair. The younger generation don't really, I'm not going to say all of them, but most of them don't know how because I'm guilty, as parents, we take them to the barbershop constantly, especially single mothers. We take them to the barbershop and they don't know how to cut. So what I did, I realized that one day when, all right, here we go. Back in the day, we used to have put the lines in our eyebrows. Y'all remember that? So I thought it was sweet. I'm glad my daughter is similar to me. I was like, oh, you should get some lines in your eyebrows. She was like, what? My son is like, no, just basic. He's just pretty much the conservative type. And then he was like, well, wait a minute. He was like, well, can you line me up? Now, people that know me, I was a licensed cosmetologist. So I was like, yeah, I could line you up. But then I wanted him to line himself up. I was like, well, you line yourself up. But I didn't take into consideration that nobody actually taught him or showed him. Let me tell you, he missed school for 3 days. He missed school for 3 days. I was like, what in the world? So the gift was, here's some clippers. Here's a guard. You have to practice. So we did it on vacation time. You know what you look like, because the one barber that he went to, he was making it crooked. And I was like, he don't see what's going on. So then I actually, started taking him to my brother. It's mighty funny how you be like, I don't want to go to Uncle Champ. I want to go to my homeboy. Yeah, you see what happened. You know what I mean? But nobody's actually taking the time. I ain't going to say nobody. Let me clear. I retract that. There's a lot of people that aren't showing the younger men those basics. Like with Nick. If we don't go to the salon, we can do our hair and we can make it work.
Definitely.
Whereas the guy's not realizing how important that father figure is in our households of the single mothers. They like, oh, I could do it myself. I don't need no man. Hunty, somebody needs to be there. Not if they laying in the bed next to you. But just somebody that can show this person, because it's like, okay, how do you fix a car? Me, I go straight to the dealer. The husband, he used to be out there rotating the tires every week. But I'm going to leave that right there. You know what I mean? So that part, my son was good at. But once the whole divorcing, it was like, oh, wait, now you're becoming a man and you don't know how to cut your own hair. You're depending on somebody else to cut your own hair. Those little things are very, very important. Now, Pelosi with the mask. So we covered that part. Do you think it was a setup? Those pro-Trumpers coming? Do you think it was a setup? Let's shop talk. Do you think it was a setup? Nick, do you think it was a setup that the pro-Trumpers came exactly at her appointment time?
Anything going on with the pro-Trumpers in the Trump period is a setup for everybody else, because he's doing any and everything to get his tail back in that office.
Okay, what you think?
I think it was.
What you think, Roogle?
He's on mute.
He gonna come off. He probably got loud music next to him. Okay, what do you think, Dr. Houston?
Absolutely, that it may not have been orchestrated by Trump. Obviously, he can't be dealing with everybody everywhere at all times. But pro-Trumpers will do whatever it takes to be able to get him back in there. So, yeah, set him up, bring her in. Then, we splash out with the camera, and there you go. Snap, snap. You don't have on a mask.
Let's just go. And what's interesting, I think it was a setup. I think somebody maybe like if they have a receptionist in that salon, or, I don't want to say her beautician set her up. Somebody knew she was coming at that time for all those people to come. They just wasn't hanging out and just like, okay, we got nothing else to do. But there's Pelosi.
Right.
What's your thoughts on that, Roogle?
You know what? It's one of those things where it's just like, with everything going on, it's really just deflection from all this other stuff. Like, okay, she was making mandates that people should have on. The reason she's getting criticized is because during Congress, she told people that they needed to wear their mask because some people didn't wear it right. And she, and so now they're using this thing that she was outside. She didn't have on her mask. She was at a business. And that business at one point was, I guess, not just that business, but businesses that fell under that preview were they're trying to make it seem like the Democrats disenfranchised those businesses because of the things that had to be done for social distancing and this public health issue. So like really it was like, okay, she didn't have on a mask in that particular thing where she was getting groomed, right? Could she have had one on? Possibly. I mean, could she have used one? Maybe, possibly. I don't know what she was getting done.
Shampoo.
You know, I don't know.
A shampoo.
You know, okay. You know, but the thing is like this. You know, a person that high profile, they're going to always be trying to find something. Remember when they got mad? They said Obama was an elitist because he ate arugula. You know what I mean? So, you know, you're going to have those things. And it's just, to me, it's just like, it really delves into like what we're talking about with Dr. Houston's book about how media sensationalize certain things. And, you know, I think once we start talking about that book, you'll start to see insight.
Oh, we definitely get ready to go there. I'm waiting for you to wrap it up.
Big of a deal.
All right,
look,
look,
I'm wrapped.
He's wrapped, and he's ready to talk about it. Triangle Games. Let's talk about Triangle Games. Why did you choose that title?
Triangle Games came from two things. One, the triangle that Trump does when he separates one side from the other side, his supporters from the rest of us, and then the games that narcissists play when they're always meddling in our lives with their own agenda. So the emotional manipulation is fun for them, and I wanted to highlight that by making it seem like it's all games.
It's all games?
Yep.
You said narcissism.
Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned narcissism. Okay. Mentioning that with the book Triangle Games, is the book about our current president, or is it just about narcissism as a whole? Because, of course, I read it. You know, your girl got to do her part.
Sure. I want to say it's both, Mel. The answer to your question is C, all of the above.
Okay.
It's about Donald Trump as well as an example of a narcissist, as an example of the emotional manipulation that we all have. But primarily, it's about emotional intelligence. This is book 1 out of 4 on emotional intelligence that I'm authoring. And I want to show that with politics, with the media, as Ron just talked about before, the emotional manipulation that happens, that all of us are susceptible to, happens at many levels. We don't know what's happening all the time. I didn't know what was happening until I did my research for this in terms of the media. But Donald Trump was Exhibit A. And I couldn't resist writing a book about him with the current climate.
So that's who you thought of when you're like, hey, wait a minute. This needs to be addressed. And, the bubble. The bubble.
We got shop talk. We got real talk. We got real talk.
That's what we do on here.
It didn't start with Donald Trump as the bubble over my head. I had a real live narcissist in my life for a couple of decades that I didn't recognize what was happening. And Mel, on Shop Talk, we're going to talk about how I was confused and perplexed and thinking, what is happening? What is really going on? And as I tried to put that person out of my life, then on the TV, Donald Trump was answering questions the same way this person would, was responding to certain things, sends out tweets in the same way. I was like, that's too much of a coincidence. That's the bubble in my head. My personal story leading to Donald Trump on my television, on all of our televisions, perpetually all around. That's when I was like, there's got to be more to this than just coincidence.
It does, and I'm glad you brought that up because I was talking. Nick is the voice of the community, the voice of the people, and Nick will tell you that the people are tired of hearing about politics, okay, and they're tired of hearing about COVID-19.
Okay.
So when the book was introduced to me by the Roogle, and I'm reading it, I was more interested in the narcissism. The things that I pulled out, the emotional intelligence, that was like key to me. That was like, I said, the mirror, chapter 5 hit home.
Right.
That hit home. And I said, this is deep, where I actually removed our current president. I read the book and it was very intriguing.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mel.
Now, I want you to elaborate a little more. You said you were in a situation and you saw it, and then you looked on the television, and we're all was subjected to the reality show.
Right.
So, tell us more about the people that haven't read the book without giving it all away, because we want people to go and buy this book. It's good, and y'all already know you got to keep my attention, and that kept my attention. And it wasn't like a love novel. It wasn't real thick, so I was grateful for that, because I'm like, I ain't got that kind of time. Yeah. It was perfect, and it was like boom. It's for that book, the Triangle Games, and looking at it and reading the preface and all of that other stuff, I said, okay, where are we going? But once I got into it, it was a page turner. It was a page turner, and I said, go ahead.
I wanted to, and thank you for that. Thank you for the reading of it. Thank you for digesting it, and thank you for the compliments. But I wanted to make it as conversational as we're having right now. It's one thing to be able to talk on the phone, talk to your friends, talk to everybody else in person, talk at a bar. But a book is hard to be able to, you're just sitting here thumbing through the pages of a book. But if I can make the conversations that we're having on conversation like this on Shop Talk come to life in a book, so that you're reading it and hearing a voice and being led through, okay, here's what happens with narcissism. And this is to your point about what the book is all about. Here's how narcissists take advantage of us, like you mentioned, in the mirror, because they reflect what we give to them. And here's what we see in the mainstream media that leads to our understanding of how we can both be more emotionally intelligent for ourselves and see the other manipulations that happen in the world around us. Conversation.
It was definitely that. I'm going to give you the floor. Let the listening audience know what the book is about, and I want you to share your experience.
Okay, well, in addition to what we just talked about, it isn't just so much about Donald Trump. The book is more about understanding yourself. Emotional intelligence is an understanding of yourself, of the world around you, and seeing exactly how the media, as Roogle talked about earlier, they have their own agenda. And they're trying to manipulate us as well. They are not here to just give us the facts. They're here to give us the facts, a little bit of a twist. And we love it. We lap it up. We've been doing this for hundreds of years, well before Shop Talk with Mel. So the media has its own little twist. Donald Trump and his supporters have their own little twist. We, as people who are not big fans of Donald Trump, we have our own twist. And by that, I mean, we still consume information at a rapid pace that buys into how we already felt about Donald Trump or Antifa or about QAnon. We consume information, and the media out there knows it. CNN knows it, NBC knows it. They can say, hey, for all you people that don't like Trump, tune in for this interview. Tune in for this story. Click on this particular conversation. And we can be just as much as guilty as feeding into our own preconceived notions about what Trump does, how bad he is, how bad Republicans are. We can be just as guilty as sometimes Trump supporters. And I want to point that out as well. Both sides of the aisle contribute to the triangle that we have here in the United States of America, where we're separated by our emotions.
I agree. I agree. And us on this panel today, I mean, we have something in common. That's why we want y'all to get out and vote.
Right.
When you talk about, let me say this first. Narcissism, in case you don't know or don't know the actual, and I'm using air quotes, definition of it, is excessive interest in self. So excessive interest and admiration, whatever words you choose to use, in self. Some people may look at, and when you hear that definition, may look at, well, is that being narcissistic or is that being confident? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And where you have confident, if people don't know the actual definition of confident, that's just a firm trust in someone. So you have to know, or self-assured. If you exude confidence, it's self-assured. So absolutely. What's the difference in question. Those?
Great question. Way to set that up. I'm going to knock this one out the park for you here, Mel. So all of us, let me make this clear. All of us have some tendencies of narcissism. All of us have sometimes when we are self-interested in conversations or in what we do. And some of us have self-confidence or self-centered. The difference is narcissists can't turn it off. You and I, Mel, can have something pointed out to each other and say, last time you had that conversation with Roogle, you were the one that were sort of manipulating the conversation. And you can say, Mel, I can work on that.
Mm-hmm.
Narcissists can't do that. Narcissists can't be held accountable for their actions. Narcissists can't see themselves outside of it. They can't be told to work on it and then go on and work on it. That moment that you have that aha, like, you know what? You're right. Narcissists also are an accumulation of personality traits where they are manipulating even when you're not aware of it. That's when the mirror comes into effect. They're doing all kinds of things behind the scenes to be able to control their environment and control the information back and forth. But again, I'm going to make this clear. I am not a psychologist. I went into this because I had a personal experience with it. When I saw Donald Trump, went on and did my own research. My background is in biology and chemistry. And so me doing all the research online saying, wait a minute. So these are real things, triangulation, gaslighting. These things really happen.
Yes.
It's a worldwide community of it. And Donald Trump is part of it. That's all.
Well, listen, with your major, you had to have some psychology. Because I know with me being a nurse, we got to have it.
But it wasn't my focus for a long time. And I want to make that clear. I'm not an expert in this field. I felt like I was just a regular citizen of the United States, and then reading and doing the research behind it led me to want to have to write about it and then share that information with everybody.
Educating and researching, and I'm going to tell you the best teacher, and it's sad to say, I'm one of those people, I don't have to experience things. I can listen to your story and learn from it. However, they say, what's that old adage, experience is the best teacher.
Yes, indeed.
So you may not have the paperwork as far as psychology, which is study of the mind. You actually studied the mind of your ex.
Right.
So I'm listening to you. I'm adhering to what you have to say, because I'll tell people over and over again, you can have the paper all day long. And I'm going to tell you as a cosmetologist, okay, we all could go to school, and then some people still can't do hair. Nick will tell you. It's like, okay, you read the book. You still can't do hair. That's whack. You know what I mean? Like, So you can read whatever you want to read, and you can get it just to say, okay, I got it. I ain't got no book next to me. I got my notes and stuff, but pull your book up. You can read a book, but the way that it's interpreted, everyone's interpretation is different. So I want to hear your story about the narcissistic person that you actually dated and see the similarities, because I know that someone that's out there listening have dated a narcissist before.
Unfortunately, I got bad news for you, Mel.
See?
I got bad news for you. It wasn't anybody that I dated.
Oh, just somebody, a friend.
This was a friend.
Oh, well, how does that work?
But because narcissistic is usually associated with somebody dating in your life, and almost all of the stories and examples that I've read in the research for this book were geared towards usually women having some male narcissistic in their life that they finally were able to separate themselves from and then live to tell their story. That is maybe 80% of the stories that are out there.
It really is, because I read too. Go ahead.
Right. It's completely understood that you would think this. So narcissists usually are men, though, in terms of their what we see in the general public. This was a male friend of mine. And so for a long time, I saw all the signs of something weird, couldn't figure it out. I think the number one thing that was a red flag for me is that your listeners could probably relate to is that when we were both single, he would call up to women who I used to casually date that we would know in a group setting, and call up and harass them and say things, and they would get back to me like, your boy just called me and said weird. I was like, what? It wasn't that he called and confronted. It wasn't that he called and harassed them. It wasn't that it made it awkward for me and the female involved. It was that every time I tried to hold him accountable for it, he would slide out of my grasp. He would actually blame me and say, hey, bros before hoes, since we on Shop Talk. And like, wait, you called this other person, you made it awkward for me, and then I'm somehow responsible for it? And that's what in the research later I found other narcissists do. You cannot hold them accountable whatsoever. And again, going back to a point we had earlier, Mel, if I said, hey, that's a line that I don't want you to cross, in terms of social things, you would say, all right, you're right, my bad. I don't know what got me thinking that I would be able to reach out to somebody you were dealing with. I apologize, I'll pull back. Narcissists can't do that. They blame you for their actions.
So, what was the blame? How did he blame you? What did he say? You gave
the stance of this other woman. Again, he wouldn't do it to a girlfriend. That would be crossing a barrier. But if I'm casually dating, casually smashing, if this is shop talk, if we can talk so freely, some woman in my life, and we maybe go out on a double date with some other woman, he'll cross the line and come back and say, why are you taking these women's side? What is with you and taking it? You are actually taking their side over me? Man, they just suppose. It's my fault? Of course it's not my fault. But that happened throughout the years, decades. Other instances that happen, group meetings, text messages from strange numbers. It was like I had a stalker in my life. Didn't know about it. Those individual situations got their own chapters within the book. But narcissists their goal is to make you seem crazy. To bring it back to Donald Trump, I think some of the anarchy, some of the chaos that we have in our country right now is because we have a narcissist as president. It's no coincidence that some of the absolute tension that we have on so many levels in our country is because there's a person in control who loves chaos. Narcissists love chaos.
Roogle, you want to jump in here?
Yeah, one thing I wanted to talk about was that how the book reads. It reads in a way where there's a lot of really great scenarios that put you in the it gives you the ability to think from the other perspective. One of the things I wanted you to talk more about was the information island and how we bridge and how we need to work to build that bridge.
Right. Thank you for that, Roogle. We touched on that a little bit earlier when we talked about how we, even as people who don't like Trump, we still just seek out information that verifies and validates the way that we were thinking. And emotional intelligence as a platform teaches us to still reach out to Trump supporters, reach out to people who may be just straight mainline Republicans, and maybe they're not big fans of Donald Trump, but Donald Trump will still go by the Republican agenda, ordering off the Republican menu, and get these mainstream Republicans things that they like, borders, small government when it comes to state-run government. So seeking out the opinions and perspective of people that are different from ours, that's emotional intelligence. And what Roogle is talking about directly is information island. Don't leave yourself on an information island. We have a free and open internet. And just we were talking right before the show, Mel, we were looking up exactly what we could find on Nancy Pelosi, exactly what we could find in terms of what's the information that's out there.
Right.
What also talks about is make sure you seek out all the opinions. Make sure you seek out as much information as you can so you can be well armed. Not just for Donald Trump, not just for some narcissist in your life who's calling up your women you used to smash, but just because you need to have as much information as you can at all times and not be on some information island.
Okay. Nick, you want to add it? You want to jump in here or you're okay? I know you got a lot to say, but go ahead.
Yeah. I'm just going to let him go. And then after he talks about everything, then I'm just, yeah.
Okay.
But a lot of that sounds so familiar to me because I've dealt with the first husband. That was his. That was.
What'd you have
definitely
to deal with?
My first husband was definitely a narcissist, and he had several different traits. He was narcissistic. It was like that man lied so good and so much also that he believed his own lies. It was just like, and then of course nothing was ever his fault, like you said. So that's just what I went through for 8 years. Yeah.
I think that the number one trait, Mel, if I can jump in here.
Go ahead.
The number one trait is the lies. They are constant and they are nonstop. And Nick, I drew the comparison in the book to a person acting a role. Actually in a play or actually in a movie where you're acting and you have some lines to read. Well, when you're off the set, you're your regular self. Narcissists never leave their role. So therefore, they don't see themselves as being lying. They lie constantly in the role that they portray to themselves. And we, because we're not sure we're dealing with a liar, we believe some of the lies, and until we actually backtrack and start to think, wait, all of those were lies. And if you said you had an 8-year marriage, there are still lies that you may be unpacking right now that you're discovering either in your mind or through other actions, and be like, that was a lie too. Non-stop. It's amazing.
And look, and then when you sit there and be like, let me check into that, then you got to be Inspector Gadget. Or you're reading too much into
I was always
something.
Inspector Gadget.
Right.
Always.
Or,
What's amazing is that Donald Trump gets to lie on a live microphone in front of the United States all of the time. And even though several media outlets call him out for it, what narcissists also do is make you believe that the people who are calling you out as being liars aren't to be believed. Never trust these other people. A person who's a narcissist, who's a liar, makes you believe that anybody else who wants to call them out can't be trusted. And that's part of triangle games as well. I got to separate. Are you okay? I see that there's people flying into the car.
Exactly. I'm getting attacked by some kind of strange birds. A big swarm of them. They came from over there to the park. And
okay, we on live. We're on live. Let's keep it going. Roll the window up, Nick. Go ahead. For the listening audience, we're doing a Zoom due to the COVID-19, and we are social distancing at its best. So when you hear different things, because we are live, that's what's happening. She's in her car, but we love Nick. Go ahead, Dr. Houston.
I was just piggybacking off what Nick was just saying before she got attacked by the birds there. Is that the lies are also part of their persona when they have to cover up for their lies and also cover up for the voices in their own head. I want to make this clear. Narcissists are very troubled individuals usually with disturbed childhoods, and maybe we've all got things in our childhood, but they somehow, and again, I'm not a psychologist, they fractured their personalities somewhere in their youth and became this other person who's bigger, badder, bolder than their voices in their own head. They lie because they have to. You and I might lie because we might be running late for a meeting. We're like, no, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I'm 5 minutes away. It's a lie.
I'm at the house.
Right. Right. But you know you're lying. You know what's happening at the time. Narcissists have no idea that they're lying. So when Nick said he believed their own lies, Nick, that is one of the biggest questions I had about doing research for them. Do they believe their own lies? And that's when I was reading more about they don't know they're lying. So it's hard for them to believe it. They don't know they're lying. You can't point it out to them. They don't know.
I know. I was watching the news, the media, and they asked, I can't remember what it was, Roogle, I'm sure he'll be able to jump in. It was something Trump said, and then he denied saying it, and then they played the clips, because we love the media, of him actually saying it. And it was like, dude, you do know that you said this live, like they have the footage.
Right.
And it makes you wonder. But I will say this. Certain things don't surprise me anymore. You put in the book where you were saying, actually, it was a little snippet that it said intellectual people want their elected officials to be intellectual.
As a reflection of themselves.
Yes. I like that. And it popped out to me because you do hold them to a higher standard. Yeah. Well, now, you know, when Trump was first running for president, I watched the reality show. This is like a huge reality show for him.
Yes.
And we're all a part of it. Okay. Yeah. And that's just my thoughts. But I will say this, before he became president, he actually followed through on some things that people are appalled about. And the reason I said that, that little excerpt that you had in there, as far as like, intellectual people want their elected officials to be intellectual, because we were brought up that way. We were groomed that way. And it's like, no, that's not presidential. You're not acting presidential. Then when you do so much that is unpresidential, I'm just like, okay, we'll just wait until he gets out of office. Mm-hmm. He said he wanted to send Mexicans back across. Everybody was shocked, and they were like, oh, that's inhumane. He got the babies in the cage. He said that, though. So I wasn't surprised. He said he wanted to build a wall. That wall didn't work, but he got one around the White House. Okay? And I'm like, they're like, oh, he got the wall. We can't even see. He said that. He said he was going to dismantle everything that President Obama did. He's done that. So those aren't presidential. I'm using air quotes because we have a certain standard that we hold the president at. I'm not moved. I'm like not moved about the ignorance. I'll just put it out there. I'm not moved by his ignorance because he actually said it. And what's sad is that there are people who are out there that are going for the party regardless of the morals and regardless of, like, it's like, okay, so the party, and a Republican told me this, the party is more important than the person.
Right.
Let's talk. Let's shop talk.
That is amazing. You hit on exactly. First of all, let's go back to the quote that you talked about that was in the book. Intellectual people like to see intellectual people in office as a reflection of themselves. Well, think about the flip side of that. People who aren't considering themselves to be intellectual don't necessarily need some intelligent intellectual person to be in office, and as a matter of fact, might be intimidated one. So when Obama is waxing philosophic on the mic and making all the rest of us swoon because he sounds so smart and comes off so wonderful,
so eloquently,
people are thinking, I don't need this guy sitting up here making me feel bad about myself, sitting here in small town USA, while this Harvard grad sits up here using polysyllabic words, making me feel bad about myself and my factory job. So that was already happening. Donald Trump gets up there, can't really talk as well, isn't really as smooth, articulate, says all kinds of stuff.
And rich.
Non-presidential, and they love him, and that's fantastic. And that is your Make America Great cliche. Your Make America Great person that we think of as a cliche with the hat going on. They never did like Obama. They always did feel insecure about other politicians being so articulate. And so they love Donald Trump on so many different levels. But then I want to go to the part you talked about with mainstream Republicans. You said you had a conversation with somebody about it in terms of, you said the party over the person.
Yes.
I love that. I think this whole election comes down to mainstream Republicans, hardcore Republicans who may not be a fan of Donald Trump and all his shenanigans, but because Donald Trump ran as a Republican, like I said, they're going to get everything they want off their Republican menu from Donald Trump. So they're like, I may not get everything I want if I vote for Joe Biden, but I think I really don't agree with Donald Trump as a person. And if they go party over person, Donald Trump may well win. I'm not sure exactly how they feel, but I believe they are the key to this next election and sometimes to the morality of our nation, because they claim to have such fantastic morals, Christian morals, and then they vote for Donald Trump. It's amazing. I don't blame Make America Great people for having Donald Trump as their hero. I make that clear in the book as well. I do not blame people who have felt disenfranchised in small town America for their support of Donald Trump. I do blame mainstream Republicans for their Christian values and their country club mentality for still supporting this guy. I do.
Okay.
I don't know about Christian. They claim they Christian, but some of them
they claim.
I was waiting on her.
Listen, I grew up in the church, and you have those that are, you know what I mean, Christian, and you have those that are Christian when you look at them. But honey, they are the devil in disguise, and that's what some of these Christian parties are. They're really the devil in disguise. I'm sorry. There's nothing Christian about a lot of stuff that some of these people are doing whatsoever. No matter how much they claim it, they are nothing but the devil. And I bind thee, devil. Get behind me, Satan. And right now, to me, I'm sorry, this is my view and not the view of Shop Talk. Trump is Satan.
Oh.
We are in hell right now.
Oh.
Up under him. We really are.
That's
and
Nick.
People don't realize that they don't see it. They're trying to rationalize. Even some of our own people, we're fighting amongst our own people, and they trying to, well, the Democrats, they ain't, and Joe Biden ain't no better, and he said this and he said that. Everybody that said something at some time of their life. It's whether you own up to it,
yes,
and hold yourself accountable. Some people are going to do it, some people aren't. But listen, right now, Donald Trump is the devil. We in hell. Y'all play around and don't vote, or try to be smart and add somebody else in there, and we end up with Trump again. I can guarantee by the time his 8 years is done, this country is going to be in more than just a sham. We are already heading back towards a race war and everything else. Y'all mess around and vote that fool back in there if y'all want to, not voting and wanting to argue back and forth about the Dems and the Republican. Nah, listen, it's in the Bible. Y'all better read. If you don't read your Bible, you read your Bibles. I'm telling you, that's where we're at.
All right, Roogle, weigh in.
I think a lot of great conversation. I really want Dr. Houston to talk about the triangle. Like break that down so that people understand the how that relationship is reciprocated in the narcissist's favor.
Okay, I appreciate that, Roogle. We touched upon this in a couple of other conversations that we've had. Let's go back to my personal experience when we talked about with the narcissist that was in my life. The moment of, wait, what's happening, that really made me start to do this research was he was able to separate me from another friend of mine, a groomsman in my wedding, and paint me as some bad person that shouldn't be listened to. And I was like, wait. So just to make sure we're clear, Mel, this is 3 male friends, triangle, narcissist at the top, male friend here on the side, male friend here myself. And he can separate us through all the rest of the lies that we know narcissists do. I got a text message one day from one of my former groomsmen who said, yep, me and you not talking anymore. Have a good life. Wait, what? Said he believed the narcissist, yet to be unnamed, and other things. I still have no idea what happened. So in the research, I found out that there's a term called triangulation, where a narcissist, unbeknownst to you, is whispering things behind your back about you to other people to separate you and make it seem like you're the issue. So that was a small time thing. That's just 3 friends. And Roogle, what we were talking about before on the phone leading up to this, and what we've talked about in this one particular shop talk, which Nick just talked about. Nick just talked about how 4 more years of Donald Trump could lead to complete chaos and anarchy within our country. Donald Trump does the same triangle, except with Make America Great, and then the rest of us who never did like Donald Trump in the first place. He can separate us because we're not communicating. How many Donald Trump supporters are you talking to? How many Donald Trump supporters for Make America Great do you reach out to and have, either on this show or in your own personal lives? Because we're not communicating, and that's the key. Narcissists can say, hey, you shouldn't really trust them. You shouldn't really believe them. And Nick, it can lead to the type of anarchy and chaos and even civil war, which I touched upon a little bit in the book as well, as possible. So let's make this clear. Let's make this clear for the triangle. Narcissist at the top, Donald Trump. People who don't like Donald Trump here on the side. Make America Great here again. If we're not communicating, narcissists absolutely love to do their triangulation thing, which is a real thing in so many psychology textbooks. He will separate you by whispering. He'll make America Great people again believe that all of us are the enemy. And if he blows that dog whistle enough times, they'll attack us for his sake.
Oh, we are there now.
Right.
We are there now.
Right.
I'm like,
definitely.
Pure narcissistic characteristic is to separate people. Especially, we're criticizing him all times. CNN comes down on his head. MSNBC comes down on his head. Nancy Pelosi comes down on his head. Well, then we all are people not to be trusted. And Make America Great is loving him. So,
okay,
that's triangle games. That's the game that narcissists play.
Now, you brought up a valid point. So you said, this is what you just said. You said, they don't like me. Now let's, for the sake of conversation, If you know someone don't like you, why would you trust them?
If you know someone doesn't like you, that's still more reason to be able to. You say trust them?
I said, why would you trust them? Why would you trust somebody? I mean, you know.
You don't have to trust them.
And the reason I brought that up is, you know, because I don't think he's wrong in that part. If I know that you guys don't like me, I don't trust you. That's why he hollered out fake news.
Right.
Now he coined that. Give him his props on that one.
Absolutely.
He coined that.
Donald Trump just said it every day.
Right. Even though we know that some of the stuff he said be fake news. You know, we be like, fake news back at you. Where's the mirror? Yeah, you know.
Yeah. One thing I want to see.
Wait.
You hear the music in the background.
Tell them you on Shop Talk. They got to cut their music down.
What? What?
But wait, and hold that, Roogle. Don't lose your thought. I like to hear everyone's views.
Yeah.
And like I said, for the sake of conversation, I know mine. I know how I feel. However, I don't deter just because we don't agree. We can agree to disagree. Does not mean that we cannot have a conversation exactly what you were saying. Because you have to keep that line of communication open. When Steve Harvey went, once President Trump got into office, and when Steve Harvey went to go talk to him, he wanted to go talk to him to keep the line of communication open.
Yes.
And honestly, even if somebody doesn't particularly like me, and let's say I have a friend and that friend is still cool with them and this is still my friend, you can still communicate. I'm not, going to cut you off. So there is a big difference in narcissism because they want, we don't like them. You can't like them either. You know what I mean? They want you all to themselves.
Right.
You have to keep that line of communication open. And I wanted to put this out here for the listening audience. You want to keep the line of communication open. If there's somebody that you don't get along with, you may have a friend that still gets along with them. You got to have that heads up. I need to know what's the plan so that I can have my stuff together. Okay. And what do they say? What's that? They have another old saying, old adage. What is it? Keep your enemies closer. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Say it one more time.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Yes. Definitely. You gotta know when to move. It's like chess. You move, I move, just like that. Shout out to Ludacris. You got to.
So Mel,
go ahead. So I'm thinking about your triangle. So that's what I was I was envisioning in my head was the triangle.
Right. So the United States is full of all kinds of geographic and political pockets where we're not communicating. Just like some friends. I'm not communicating with some people in West Virginia or Louisiana who may be completely pro-Trump. They don't communicate with me. We may find out, to Nick's point, that we have way more in common than we know. But since we're not communicating, we just vilify each other and be like, they, them, us, we are us. And any narcissist can walk right into that and say, oh, this is an easy time I can be able to separate these people from each other for my benefit.
For your benefit. That's the key, for your benefit. Because even now when we had, what was it, the protesters. The protesters is violent and thugs and all the rest of that stuff. But then you got the cotton, I call them cotton, out here with rifles and sawed-off shotguns, and they're good people.
Good people on both sides. Good people.
Like, come on. What's really going on, and what are you saying? These people are my friends. They're on my side, just like what you're saying. The triangle at the top. They're on my side. You'll always be good. You're not on my side. Get out of here. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
Like what he did with, and this is alleged, Huckabee. Remember, what was it? Sarah Huckabee? She did like a memoir recently. Remember, she was working with Trump and all that extra stuff. I can't remember what position. Tell me what position she play. What position she play, Roogle? The Huckabee girl.
I think she was the press secretary or something.
Okay.
Or something.
All right.
Kelly.
Look, pun on the triangle games. That's why I said what position she play. Triangle games.
But yeah.
Go ahead, Roogle.
She was. she was just fielding, like basically people were hammering her, asking her these questions, and like she's trying to deflect, redirect, and do everything she can not to truly expose what the truth was about her, about the guy she represented. You know. Did you
see the memoir where they did
no.
I read a little. They did a snippet, and it had what's his name? The one they said that was running things, that the not Chinese. What is he? The Korean guy.
I can't think of his name right now.
Him.
Yeah, that's it.
They put in there that I read it, so y'all got to look that up for yourselves. Listening audience, where she put that he winked at her, and allegedly, I said allegedly, people, Trump told her to take one for the team. Y'all can find it. Now, I don't care who you are, but you tell me to take one for the team, you just let me know that you don't respect me as a female. That's total disrespect. Take one for the team.
But we already know that he's about disrespect, especially towards females and children.
But guess who voted for him? Did you see the percentage of females that actually voted for him? That was bananas.
That's crazy to me, because he's very disrespectful and things.
Party over person. Party over person. And our young people need to understand that they really need to do, please, listen. I seen somebody that said something, I can't remember what it had, something over history. No, it was some shirts these young people had out. No, you need to know your history. It is so important to know your history. A lot of our black people think that Democrats black. Well, black people started with the Republican Party.
Right.
Yeah, we did.
And then it changed out. Things wasn't, wait a minute. What they say, they changed the narrative. That's the term that we use now. They changed the narrative. And then we crossed over. But please, people, I don't care what party you're on. You have to be careful who you vote for. And I think it's important. I really think that it's important to do person over party than party over person.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's me, because
I love that phrase, by the way. Did you coin that?
I didn't coin it, but I brought it up just now on Shop Talk. So look, so they can look at the date that it was said, and then because it's recorded. So there you go. It's record. Yes, I said that. I just think that people need to look at it. And in my head, I do have the triangle and the narcissist at the top.
Yep.
And that narcissist do want to separate you.
Yes. And again, they see it as a game while we take it very seriously, and there are serious repercussions on a personal level or on a platform of political level. It's just a game to them. They are children. They are young children playing the role of an adult, playing games to validate themselves and feel like they're in control. And if they can manipulate people with integrity, makes them feel even better about themselves.
It's really interesting, too, because usually the narcissist, they're an abuser. There were a lot of similarities from the two as far as like the examples used. And even if they are wrong, they try to turn into the victim.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's like,
I want to make a key point that they're usually not physical abusers. They're almost always emotional abusers, where they're not hitting you upside the head or stalking you. They're not outside the bushes. They're trying to make you seem like
emotional.
You're the one that's crazy, and they're the victim of your emotional attacks. So they feed off your emotions when they're trying to make you crazy. Nick, when they're trying to lie to you all the time, they're trying to set you up so that you go crazy, and they can point to you and say, I don't know why you're so emotional about all of this. You clearly are the one that has problems and you need counseling. You.
Yeah. Pointing the finger. You. Now, I will say a lot of people have an issue with being called a narcissist.
Yeah.
But we have to call it what it is. And if you don't like narcissists, I like the emotional manipulator. I looked at that.
Yeah.
Let's just, because it is exactly that. And emotional abuse is worse.
It is
than physical abuse.
It's tough because you know somebody's not in your corner when they hit you upside the head or they punch you in the stomach. You're not sure what's going on when it's all emotional and all seems to be in your head. It's why it took so long for me to figure out what was going on. It's a couple of decades of this until I was able to say, wait. If somebody would have hit me upside the head, I can tell you right off the bat that it's somebody that I'm not dealing with anymore, right? I'm go back at them, whatever it is. Physical abuse is a lot easier to detect, is all I'm saying. Emotional abuse is not always clear. And because we as a society, Mel, I had no idea what a narcissist was 6 months ago before I started writing this book. I couldn't clearly define it. And I'm thinking most of the general population, PhD or not, unless you are a clinical psychologist, all the things we're talking about are really outside of our wheelhouse. And it leaves us completely open for everybody, including Trump, to manipulate us. I couldn't tell you what gaslighting, triangulation were, or how much narcissists actually lie. Their problems with women, especially the male narcissists, I had no idea. It leaves all of us vulnerable. Mm-hmm.
It does. But that's where we have to say, no, it's not us. It's you. And that's why I say the reality show. I'm just watching this thing play out. We just a part of it. And it's like, okay, well, what we going to do now? The interesting part is the people that are in the cabinet, because you can look at it. A game show. Let's look at the Triangle Games.
Game show.
Yeah, Triangle Game Show. And you're looking at your leader at the point, the top of the triangle. And you have the people, and I say us as a whole because we all have different opinions and different views, but let's put us all together.
Right.
So you have the us and the them, like spades.
Yes.
Okay. You got the us and the them at the bottom, and then you got the narcissist at the top.
Right.
When do you come together? At the end, like I said, like spades, us and them. At some point, after y'all get up from playing that game, you have to shake hands and say, okay, the best won.
Mel, that's the toughest question. If you're asking, how do we all come together on it?
Yes.
That is the tough question. It would be one thing, even on the small triangle that I had when it came to narcissist, friend, me. It's still tough to be able to cross back and say, I need to be able to reach out to them. And no, they did me wrong. But the narcissist wins as long as we don't communicate. I guess I just answered my own question.
You did.
As long as we don't communicate in here, the narcissist is always winning. When it comes to us as a country, as long as we're not communicating on here, then the narcissist always wins, always at the top of that triangle. So I'll ask the question to everybody who's listening. Who do you know that may have a different viewpoint than you, that maybe is being separated by a narcissist or not? Who can you reach out to that has a different opinion? Who can you use your emotional intelligence to be able to come to a way to talk about things that are difficult, like politics, like emotional manipulation, like the media? Normally, we're so frightened to be politically safe and just safe in our conversations. We don't want to engage with people that may have a different viewpoint than us because they can get charged up, we can get charged up, we can end up just calling each other a whole bunch of names. Nobody ever got anything resolved along the bottom of that triangle. But if we have, either one of us has enough emotional intelligence to be able to reach out across to somebody who may have a different viewpoint than us, who definitely has a different viewpoint than ours, then we can have a better country. And all it takes is for each one of us to make one of those reach outs. Mm-hmm. Just one.
Just one. Just as
you
you said.
Some Trump supporter somewhere, talk to him.
And
not about why you hate Trump. Talk to him about why they love Trump. Talk to him about what's on TV. Talk to them about something else and in their lives personally. You build up enough trust. You mentioned trust before.
Right.
Why would you trust somebody who doesn't like you? Build up enough trust by showing interest in them as a person, then you can talk politics.
Yes. That's probably why they don't have politics at the job, at the workplace. No religion and no politics.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like, look, then you have fights because people believe, I guess, like diehard football fans. You know, you be like, oh, you be looking like, really?
You talking about my Steelers?
Yeah, I'm a Steelers fan too.
That's
all
what
of
I'm
us.
talking about. Yes. Steelers.
I'm a Steelers fan, but I saw that you were, Mel. I saw that you were, so I threw that out for you. I'm a Washington fan of the unknown team that we're still trying to get ourselves together again. Born and raised here.
Okay. All right.
I mess down here for a football team, if you didn't know.
I did, but y'all still go to the games because traffic is crazy.
I don't think there's going to be any fans in the stands in a couple weeks when we start.
Now it won't be. Right. And Roogle, we know we'll shout out to his Browns because we know he loved the Browns.
Yeah. Okay. I got a soft spot for the Browns. Yeah. Been in Cleveland for 4 years.
Them Browns.
Yeah, just make it happen. Now, I want to say with that triangle, with the us and the them, when you have the narcissist, and we talked about communication, so thank you, Dr. Houston, for that communication. Communication is key. When do both confront the narcissist? Because it's a continual line.
Great question. Never. And the third part of that is never again. You cannot, and this is again something that I used to do on a regular basis, try to hold the narcissist accountable for their actions. I tried to do it one-on-one, tried to have sit-down meetings, tried to write emails, write up. I like writing, so I wrote all of this stuff up. And in my research, I found out, no. Every time you try to hold a narcissist accountable, they use the energy that you're giving them against you. The more you try to convince them to see things the way that they should, the more you use your integrity, the more they're like, oh, I got this dude. He's trying to hold me accountable. And they flip that. Even if you work out things along the bottom of the triangle amongst the people who have been separated by the narcissist, neither party is going to be able to go to the narcissist and say, see what you did. Let's confront you. Let's pull it out. They absolutely will reject your attempts to hold them accountable every single time. They are not to be cured by a psychologist in a sit-down section. They are not to be cured by an intervention with a group of people. They absolutely...
You're right about the intervention.
Interventions. It is not happening with narcissists. And it's one of the most amazing things I've found in the research for this book. It's like, so they can't be cured? So all of my attempts just made it easier for them to manipulate me? All of your attempts to hold a narcissist accountable make it easier for them to manipulate you.
That is very interesting.
We tried counseling.
Listen, that's very interesting that you should say that. I'm with you, Nick. And they don't. And even if you talk to them, they'll say whatever it is that you want to hear them say so that they can get their way. And they're like, oh, okay, just for the peace.
Not this one.
Listen, no. But just for the peace. You said now you was out. Just for the peace. But here's the thing. Eventually the person will leave because all the energy that you put into it for them, it's okay for you to see their view. But they have a problem with seeing your view. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I apologize. But the same behavior seems to occur. You didn't mean that apology. I really believe that they believed that it was sincere, but they went back to their way. So clearly it wasn't sincere. You don't apologize. You just really don't know. I'm convinced. And your girl, guess what? Boom. Why don't you answer the call? For what? I'm not putting any more energy in you. I'm not putting any more, especially if it's a topic too with a narcissist that believes that they're always right. And then they want to start a conversation with you to hear your view and try to tell you that your view is wrong. Why did you ask me? Me personally, I'll ask the question. I'll be like, so why did you ask me that? Do you really want to know? Or do you really want me to just listen to what you have to say? Call me in 2 days when I'm ready because I got too much on me right now. You know what I mean? Now, I have been friends with narcissistic people. And I'm sorry, Roogle. I'm sorry, Dr. Houston. Narcissistic people are usually men.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's like, what is it the masculinity? Is the rah-rah? Is it the testosterone?
I can give you plenty of examples where it's not.
Right, but it's
give me some.
It's the majority. I think if I read it, it was 70-30.
Yeah, I didn't know. I couldn't remember the percentage, but Yes, I'm with you. It was a lot. It wasn't 50-50.
Right. And I have no idea to answer your question. I do want to go back to something you said just in the last point that you were making about apologies. There's a section in the book where it talks about the apology contract, where narcissists separate their responsibility from your feelings from their actions in the contract. So you feel a certain way about their actions.
Yeah, I'm sorry you feel that way. That's not an apology.
Is their response. Not, I'm sorry that my actions caused you to feel that way. No. There's no link between my actions and your feelings. I'm sorry you need an apology. I'm sorry that you sometimes feeling emotional about this whole situation. They can say the words I'm sorry, but they cannot apologize for how you feel about their actions at all. And that's part of in the book as well.
It is. And it is the truth. It is the truth. Go ahead, Roogle. You still next to the DJ?
One noted example I would say is like when you take the movie Boomerang, for example, Robin Givens' character was very much a narcissist. You know, I believe that. I remember in a past relationship where a woman told me, well, if you go looking for stuff, you'll find it. And I'm like, well, if there's evidence that validates my thought, how is that, me conjuring something up if there's no true connection?
Now, let me say this. Right. Let me say this from a female's perspective. No, from a female's perspective, you said that she said, if you go looking for something, you'll find it. She was being honest. I don't know if that's narcissistic behavior. That's some honesty for your tail.
But the thing is like this. It's like what she was trying to create there was the image that, like, well, if you, not that what I was finding out wasn't true, but that if I go looking for it, I'll find it. But exactly. So I'm saying, like, if it's true and I have evidence of it being true, it wasn't because I went and looked for it that was the flaw. The flaw was that you reneged on the contract that we had, the relationship that we had. You know what I mean?
So she wasn't accountable.
The evidence of impropriety is just that. It is the reality. It's not the perception which she was trying to make, which she was trying to lean into and say, well, it's the perception that you're trying to make a reality. No, I'm like, it's the evidence that validates what this reality truly is.
Now, see,
that's one thing I hate for people to say. Why, if you always going, you go look for something, you gonna find it. If you always gonna look for something, and I nicely, me being Nick, I rebut back and be like, obviously that's why I was looking, because I knew I was gonna find something. Because if there was nothing for me to find, or if that person is not guilty, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. I would have to be playing Inspector Gadget.
Let me tell you something, Inspector Gadget. Listen to what was said. If anybody knows me, I listen to what you say. She said, if you look for something, you'll find it. So she told you I'm doing something. He said, if you go looking for something, listen, wait, hear me out, Nick. He said, if you go looking for something, you'll find it. So what that means is, yes, I'm doing something. And if you want to be with me, don't go looking to hurt your feelings. That's what it said. I listen to what people say. Nobody is a liar to me. Nobody is a liar to me, especially if I'm dating you, until I see different. And then once I see fake news, air quotes, I'm out. Because here's the deal. Either you want to be with me or you don't. I'm not checking nobody's phone. If you leaving and you go with somebody, I'm not riding in the car. I'm way too busy for that, to be chasing you around town to see who you are with. If you want to be with me, you want to be with me willingly. I am not shackling you down. And that's it.
But that's the whole point. I think that he brings out, that Dr. Houston brings out in the book, is because that narcissist, even though, like, you could be like, well, hey, I ain't holding you here, so why do you stay? You know what I mean? Like, why is it so important that you do that you stay. And so the thing is like it's the definition of gaslighting, how he has it identified in the book, because now you're trying to tell me that if I not only feel but have proof that there's something wrong, you're telling me, well, you're just going down a rabbit hole of just thought that is not the reality of what it is. You're
trying to make you think you're crazy.
And so like the thing
emotional manipulator.
I really think it's probably 50-50 when we talk about men and women. I just think that sometimes women get a pass because it can be used as, we all heard the term feminine wiles. No. Explain
the feminine wiles.
Come on now. Come on.
Explain the feminine wiles, Roogle. Tell me about it.
Feminine wiles. You know what that is.
Educate us.
From what I've seen, personally experienced or whatever, it's leveraging what may entice you to be with that person for them to have a whole veil of secrecy about whatever their true intentions are. Oh. But I'm just saying, like men may have it labeled as, hey, he ain't a player, but he's a ladies' man. You know what I mean? And then women have it with, Lola, whatever Lola wants, Lola gets, yo. Everybody knows that.
What is that, Nick? Go ahead. What is that? I was getting ready to say something. What is that? Is that WAP?
What you say? That's that WAP. Yeah.
The feminine wiles. That's that WAP.
That's WAP. You heard what Cardi B said? She don't cook, she don't clean, but she got that ring.
Hey.
I heard that song yesterday when she said wet like macaroni.
Ah!
What?
Yeah,
what are you talking about, man?
What you say? What's she talking about? Y'all crack me up. Hey, listen, we get ready to shop talk some more. Dr. Houston, you gonna hang out with us?
I gotta let you guys go for now, man. I apologize. I appreciate everything that you guys have done. Unfortunately, I gotta go right around the 11:30 moment. That's why I got this clock on this wall right here behind me, as well as in front of me here on the screen. Mel, you are awesome and fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on. That book is Triangle Games. I'm telling you, it's good. That's what we talked about for this time. Look, for these whole almost an hour and a half, we talked about Triangle Games.
I'm going to have to get it.
Where can we find the book?
You can find the book on Amazon directly, Triangle Games. It is. It's also on the website, readybooks.com. Both of those have this book in a link. Easy to purchase.
Easy to purchase. All right. And I'll have it on the website. I'll have it also on all the social media sites so that you guys can know who the author actually is and see the book and see the cover, because you don't want to get bamboozled and get the wrong book. So that's it. Triangle Games by Dr. J. Houston. You'll see the PhD at the end of it. So please reach out, get it. It's a good read. It's a page turner. I did it in 2 days? In between, working and all that. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a second. You know what I'm saying? It was really, really good. I enjoyed it. The part I told you, chapter 5, the mirror. I want to do that before you leave. Where it said that we could be subconsciously biased to think that others are similar to us.
Yes.
And that hit home for me because I did a show a while ago where when I was a lot younger, I thought everybody had the same childhood that I had.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
Y'all didn't eat? Like, you wait for school? Right. Like, you were molested? Right. Things. My mind was blown. And a guy was in the studio, Shimmy, shout out to you, Shimmy. And when he shared his story, and I said that, were you there, Nick, that day? And he was like, Mel, for real? And I said, I did. I thought that people had the same upbringing as I did.
Right.
And that was a wild moment. That was a female wow. Isn't that what you say? Girl wows? Or
Girls go wild.
Yeah.
I don't know what the phrase was. But Mel, you mentioned this earlier. And you just pretty much just summed up the mirror. Whatever we saw in our childhood we think that, and until we become adults and find out people had completely different experiences, we sort of think that people are similar to us. Go back to what you said about your own perspective on dating. You mentioned that until you see somebody do something different, until you see some evidence of lies, you're going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, right? Imagine on the other side. Imagine if you had a different childhood experience, you're going to automatically go into things thinking people are doing wild stuff, people are lying to you, people aren't being upfront. It's a completely different perspective. That's the mirror that you're looking into. Whatever you saw in your childhood, you think you see in other people. Oh, that's probably a lie. That's probably a lie. They probably not being truthful with me right now. We can't help but have our own biases from our own childhood experiences and see other evidence. We are seeing things in other people that are bonding us with our own childhood experiences. So in the context of narcissism, if you are not a narcissist, you are a person with some integrity, some character, you can't see, Nick, you mentioned your 8-year marriage, you can't see this other person because you're seeing parts of yourself in this other person. And we can't help it. And it goes on for months, sometimes weeks, sometimes years, in seeing ourselves in other people. It's tough to be able to break out from it. And that's what emotional intelligence can hopefully lend us to be able to do, to notice when somebody is mirroring us in those early stages of dating, as you mentioned. Somebody's really just like, are you really seeing me for me, or are you seeing yourself? Emotional intelligence can help us to be able to separate the people who are setting us up for emotional manipulation from people who are genuinely in our corner, which is what we all want.
All right. Thank you. That is Dr. J. Houston out of the DC area. I appreciate you coming on. How can anybody reach you? How can the people reach you?
You can reach me directly. There's a link to be able to reach me on my website. It's readybooks.com or readynetwork.com. There's absolutely ways to be able to leave emails, memos, text messages, all kinds of things. Smoke signals we haven't got yet. We're working on smoke signals. Website. We'll have that coming out soon.
All right. Thank you. That is the author of Triangle Games. I truly enjoyed you and I appreciate you coming on the show. You got to come back and shop talk with us sometime.
Absolutely. Just send me the invite on my email. I'll be there.
I got you. Thank you very much, Dr. Houston. That is Triangle Games. Read it. Listen, y'all want to break from politics. It's intertwined in there a little bit, but I'm telling you, it's a page turner. We done shop talk throughout. We ain't tell all of the book. Roogle, we didn't share all of the books, so you got to get it to read it. How much is your book?
$18.70. Count your pennies.
That 70 cents.
$18.
$18. No, oh yeah, let me say that for the listening audience. I'm down to the 70 cents. $18.70. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you know they trying to tax us with that COVID tax. Get on out of here.
Right.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dr. Houston. Roogle, did you want to say something before Dr. Houston leaves? I done had some coffee. Go ahead. Roogle still got the DJ there?
Anybody? Is there any other question?
I was trying to see if Roogle had something to say, but I guess not. We're going to go with no for 200. All right. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day weekend.
You as well.
You too.
All right, Nick. We get ready to shop talk on this dress code. Do you think parents should have a dress code at their child's school?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, because you got parents coming up there with a bonnet on their head, pajama pants, looking all crazy. That's, first of all, you should, even if you just throw on a t-shirt and some shorts or a pair of jeans, but just make sure it's ironed or something, just to go up there, throw a ball cap on. That's better than going up there, because people coming out in Walmart and everything. But yeah, there should be some type of a dress code.
So
it really should.
So what you're saying is it needs to be a dress code in public. Well, you said Walmart.
Yeah, don't come outside and go in no public place in your pajamas. That's ignorant.
Now, I will say some parents will go to the school, and I don't know if they think about the child, because I would be so embarrassed. I would be super embarrassed that my parent then came out in public with a a bra shirt and some leggings with no underwear
or
at the school.
Pajama shirt that they slept in, no bra with their tatas hanging, some pajama pants, and like I said, a bonnet on their head. Even if it is to come up there and discipline your child, still have some type of morals and integrity for yourself. You know, don't, even though you got to come up there to whoop your child's butt or snatch your child out of school, whatever it may be, come up, have some type of respect for yourself.
Or what if it's since we started the school year off, to drop your child off for school. Now here's the thing. I see in different states they have a dress code for the parents, as they do, you know, for the teachers and the students. Now, when I posted that on the as the Shop Talk question of the week, I seen a lot of different responses, and there was one that projected on, you know, like, well, the teachers need dress codes. Okay, that the teachers do have dress codes. However, when a parent comes to the school not dressed appropriately, and you're coming into the office, you have other children that are there. You have parents that'll say, can I use the restroom? Now they have to go into the hallway, and other children are subjected to your outfit. You know, then there was something that said, you know, some people, they dress like prostitutes and all that other stuff. Some, they dress, I mean, I don't know how prostitutes dress, especially now, because they kind of tacky. Back in the day, they used to be together with stilettos and mini dresses. Now they like hoodies and sweats and just sitting on a crate talking about waiting on somebody to pull up. It's totally different now. Like, things that were accepted back then are not accepted now. It's like, well, let me put it this way. They're accepting everything now. I'll put it that way. They're accepting everything. So what do you think a proper dress code would be if you were to put a dress code into place for parents to come to the school? What would you actually, what would you say not to wear? Let's put it that way. And Roogle, you're next.
Okay, don't wear your pajamas. Don't wear, like you said, like a bra and spandex pants or nothing like that. Be, like I said, throw on some jeans, or if you got stretch pants on, wear a long enough shirt. Make sure you're wearing underwear.
Okay.
Wear underwear. Don't come to school with your hair standing all over slap a hat on if you got to. Something. Just, ain't nobody telling them to be all dressed up like they going to church or like they going to evening out somewhere. Well, it depends on what type of evening out.
That's how I say,
that way, because some of us could, like you said, anyway, please don't dress like you going to the club. Be presentable. Even if you're dressed relaxed, make underwear. Just throw on a pair of jeans, or if you got a pair of leggings, fine, but a long enough t-shirt and a bra.
Go ahead, Roogle.
Is that too much to ask?
Loaded question, I think, because part of it to me is...
Okay, here. Do you think that parents should have a dress code at their children's school or child's school?
And that's why I said it's a loaded question, right? Because like my first thoughts are, let's look at the church, right? The church says, come as you are. and they're talking about spiritually, right? But sometimes it is a physical manifestation, right? Because you run into people who, like, for example, there's programs like Dress for Success, right? So what do? They prepare people to be in that work environment.
Shout out to Felicia Davis.
That thing,
Go
right?
ahead. Mm-hmm.
And then there are situations where it's like, hey, I don't know what clothes you have, but there is something paramount that we're speaking about here, and that's your child's well-being and education.
Okay.
Are you willing to come? And are you willing to come with an open heart to understand what we're saying and try to assist your child in the best way possible so they can achieve? So before I would judge the clothing, I would judge the intent of the meeting and the purpose of why the parent is there.
Okay, so the parent.
So you got the parent there, and you got their attention, and they happen to have on Bugs Bunny sleeping pants or whatever. Use it to your ability to be able to help that child.
Let me.
Now I understand. The thing is, some people, they don't have to be told what to wear to certain things. But the thing is that, especially taking into considerations, putting myself in the other person's shoes, I don't know if that person worked at 12 at a nursing home last night, and this was what they came in, and they tried to do what they need to do to meet that meeting. I don't know what that circumstance was. But what I do want them to have is a willing heart and open ear to be able to work with whatever that school administrator is to be able to improve the outcomes for their child.
Okay. And that is grand. I'll tell you what I saw. A bra. She had a bra on, but it was a bra. Some leggings with no underwear, camel toe showing. And you could see that there were no underwear. And they were dropping their child off. And then they had to, let's say they had to use the restroom. So now they have to walk down the hallway and other children are able to see them. Then there's those who come in there with no bra, with a white shirt, t-shirt, and you can see. And I get it with the meeting, you just don't know, you don't know where people are. However, go in the dirty clothes hamper and get the dirty bra out and put the bra back on. I don't care if it's clean.
That could be a non-option, depending on how funky that bra is.
Listen, put that musty bra on and come on up in there, because we don't want to see them things hanging in the nipple print. I don't want to see that. And I think that not even just me seeing it, like a child may not be exposed to that.
Yeah.
Just like they have, let's say with the football coaches, Little League, you might have a cursing coach. Every child, they haven't heard that language in their home. You know what I mean? So now you're exposing this child to vulgarity when that child just want to play football. And you got somebody saying, get your A out there, little mother effer. I seen it.
Yeah, and that's a lot. Because I'll tell you, when I played football in high school, I had dislocated my shoulder, and I was just cussing. And my coach said, "Is all that cussing going to make it feel better?" Right? And he was right; it didn't. But all I could come up with was like, "Man, this is a F." It was that level of pain, dislocated shoulder. But the point is that you're right about that. I think what happens sometimes is that you get people who want to toughen the kid up, so they talk harder. But sometimes talking harder doesn't mean using profanity. You know what I mean? Because I remember one of the coldest things a coach ever said to me, he had no cuss words in it, and I was like, I might have to go and hit this dude. I might have to tackle him to let him know who I am. You know what I mean? But the point was that he conveyed, he lit something in me that conveyed that whatever I was doing wasn't right, but not right like I was doing something. It wasn't like a moral issue. It was a field issue. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I remember because he said to me, this was the thing. I made the tackle, but he said, if I would have did this, if I did this, they would have lost yardage versus just making a tackle. And so what I came away from that was I tackled the guy. And he was like, yeah, but you didn't do it like this. And if you did it like that, then they would have had the yardage gain. And so it sparked the thing in my head was like, well, that makes sense because he's telling me, yeah, you made the tackle, but you could have made it more efficiently to be able to offset them potentially getting a first down.
Okay.
They didn't get the first down, but they got more yardage than what they would have got had I pursued my course as he thought I should have.
Okay. Now, look,
But there was
you
no
got the lesson.
Listen.
You get the lesson. Hey, let's talk about this payroll tax cut, the tax holiday that President Trump is making his top priority. It started September the 1st. How do you feel about that tax holiday? Do you know about it?
Anything to get reelected.
Go ahead.
First of all, it's more of a burden than a help. Because what happens is that you still have to pay that money back because it's just what it is.
Right.
And so what he's saying is that, like, well, if I'm reelected, I'll make sure that you don't have to repay that, right? But the point is that if you are truly trying to help the American people and you want to increase what we get in our paychecks, increase the minimum wage. Period. Point blank.
Thank you.
Point blank. Even if you ain't trying to make it $15 an hour. The federal minimum wage, I think, is like $7.25. Make it $10. You know what I mean? Make it whatever it is. Whatever it is, if you increase that, then you solve the problem part way. Mm-hmm. You know, the other thing is that, like, you know, people talk about the money that we got. It was, you know, is a part of introducing us to socialism and stuff like that. Now the issue is that we
have to pay that back too, right?
I don't know about that.
Okay,
I don't know.
I think so.
I'm thinking
I think
so.
they're going to hit us with it for the tax year.
But, and then, now if you hit us with that 12...
This hasn't been the first time we got stimulus money, because Bush gave us stimulus too.
Gave you stimulus, because I missed it for some unknown reason. I didn't get it.
We still had to pay taxes on it during the following tax year.
I don't know that. I don't recall that, but I will say I did get that check though. I did get that hot $600.
Good for you.
So
I ain't getting that.
Look, me and you were like, I'm like, good for you. I ain't getting none either. Like, But I'm wondering.
But the point is
can we afford it?
Can who afford it?
Can we afford it? Because we have, like, let's look at the country. We got the 600. Go ahead.
I mean, the issue is that, like, if it's going to be, if you're going to do something that's going to have to make me pay later, then don't do it, right? So there's other ways that you can be able to stimulate the economy without putting in something that is a temporary fix that eventually you're going to have to pay back because of the tax bracket thing and all that sort of stuff.
Because it's 3 months.
Like I said again,
it's 3 months.
If you want to help the American people, increase the minimum wage.
That's
increase the minimum wage. Get rid of the student debt.
You still talking about the student debt? How it benefits you?
Free health care for everyone.
Yeah.
If you want to help the American people,
figure out how to help without us having to pay. Just like what Roogle said, having to pay it back because it is going to be a burden come next year because we got to start paying it back in January. And then, so the taxes will be back in January. Plus, what is it going to be, like double? Like, just keep mine, leave well enough alone, and I'll be all right with it. Let's talk about...
I've been all right thus far, and I'll continue to be all right.
Okay. Now, according to
the thing about it is...
I got to move on real quick. According to the FBI, they say, allegedly, I read an article, that Chicago gangs are making a pact that any cop seen drawing a gun to kill them, what's your thoughts? Any cop seen drawing a gun on a person to kill them. Now, this is according to the FBI. Do you think that statement is true or not true? Or is it just, it'll cause more mayhem? Go ahead. That's a question.
I couldn't hear what you were saying.
What I was saying was Chicago gangs are making a pact that any cop seen drawing a gun to kill them, according to the FBI. Do you think that I read that? I read, it was an article that I read. Do you think that is true or not true? Do you think they really made a pact? Or you just think that somebody's just putting that out there? So it could be how it was back in, what was it, 1862 when they had N-word hunting. Remember that N-word hunting season? Where they had in Missouri, where they had hunting cards where they had permission to hunt, like deer hunting season. They had N-word hunting season back then. Do you think that's just a way to implement that again? Because that's how I feel right now. This is just my views. As far as like you just killing us for no reason. Like, is this some type of private meeting y'all had to do this? Like, what's really going on? But do you think that the Chicago gangs actually said that?
I doubt it. Because if they die-hard gangs, they ain't came together and made no pact about nothing.
Okay.
If
What's
you a
your...
Blood, and you a Crip, and you a Vice Lord, and all the other ones, you not trying to make no pact come together unless somebody else tries to mediate. But they ain't... Listen, I had cousins from Chicago, and some of them, was in gangs or know people was in gangs. They ain't coming together for nothing.
Okay, go ahead, Roogle. What's your thoughts?
So I think you might have been breaking up, but you said that the gangs supposedly came together to make a pact to do what to do?
To kill any
police
wait, Nick. Let me finish it, Nick. Because I want to say it verbatim. Chicago gangs making a pact that any cop seen drawing a gun to kill them. Do you think it's true or false? Do you think that that's just out there just to kind of make things worse? Because I'm with Nick though.
I think if that was the case, I don't think it's true.
Okay. I don't think it is. That's why I say I'm with Nick, because I just can't see it. I think it's just to cause more chaos and more mayhem and more reason for the cops to just go out and just start just killing people.
Killing black folks. That's all that is. That's their justification.
That's interesting. I just wanted to know. Hey, shout out to Cam Newton. Cam Newton is named as of Thursday. Is named the starting quarterback for the Patriots and the captain, filling the void that Tom Brady created, according to ESPN. Don't you think that's good news?
It's good news, but it would have been better if he was a Steeler.
He went to
congratulations, Cam.
Look at Roogle. Why? Because he's not a Browns fan?
Yeah,
I'm talking about that Steeler.
That Steeler comment. Oh, okay.
I just think.
Come on now.
I just think, like, the deal with that whole Cam Newton thing is that he ain't getting paid. What he's getting paid very, like, minuscule. I mean, hey, I'll take it, but it's very minuscule for the things that he has done. I think he has, his contract is like less than $1 million or something like that. And people are saying, well, this gives him the opportunity to be able to prove himself and all that other, stuff they say, right? I think, like, the thing is that, I'll tell you this, I hope he wins. I hope he wins big time. And not that I'm not a Patriots fan or anything like that, but how they try to portray him in the media with this whole thing. Like, they were trying to make it seem like, well, he was a problem in the locker room, which was never founded. They try to make it seem like because he's flamboyant with his hairstyles and his dress, his
clothes,
he's a problem or whatever, and he hasn't done any of these things, and it reminds me of what D.L. Hughley had said, how he was boycotting the NFL because he was like, how the hell do you have a guy like Colin Kaepernick who stands on his principles, is blackballed, but it's people who have murdered and did all kinds of crazy other stuff that you'll allow back into the league without any problem. But him, a guy who did nothing wrong, who's just standing on his moral convictions, you blacklist, right? So as much as I agree with, because I stopped watching sports a while ago, just because. But I really hope that he goes there and he does a great job. I hope he wins the Super Bowl.
Good. Well, Nick said no. Nick talking about she don't hope he wins.
We don't care about what you got to say, Nick. We don't care.
Nah, dog. The Steelers better win. It's time for the Steelers first to get another ring. We can't let the Patriots do it. I don't care if Cam is the new head, captain. We not. I congratulated Cam. We gonna.
But how y'all gonna win the Super Bowl?
Listen.
How are we not? Huh? How are we not? Let's talk about that. That's a shorter list. How are we not?
The same way we won it all the other times.
The only way Pittsburgh is gonna win the Super Bowl is that they stop the other team from coming into the city, so it's a forfeit. There's no way.
No, you didn't.
Y'all ain't gonna even make the playoffs. This
coming from a Browns fan that come on now.
Nick, the Browns, remember they fired the staff, the concession workers, the janitors, they fired everybody.
Let's just make a friendly bet.
Okay.
Come on,
y'all ain't gonna even make the playoffs. The Steelers ain't gonna even make the playoffs.
Oh, that's so sad. That's sad that you
y'all
think that.
Y'all ain't gonna make the playoffs.
How do you think?
Y'all ain't even gonna get off the bench.
It's cool, but y'all ain't gonna make the playoffs.
All right, wait a minute. This is a serious question. Hold on. How do you think that the football season is going to be this year with the COVID-19 and no fans?
You know what? I don't know. I mean, they talk about home field advantage and all that kind of stuff. And the thing is that the fans being in the stadium is revenue, right? I don't think it's going to stop the players from playing any harder, because the thing is that they got milestones in their contracts and things like that that they need to reach. You know, I just kind of feel like maybe it'll give people a little bit more time to focus on some of the things that are happening now in our communities and in our society, versus like if a team that I arbitrarily cheer for wins a game or not. You
Nick,
know, that's how I feel about it.
Okay, Nick, how do you feel about it? What do you think?
I mean, that's their job, and they're going to have to do their job regardless. But also, that's part of what gives these teams and these players motivation, because of the fans cheering for them or booing for them or whatever. So it's going to be very hard. Yes, they're doing their job because that's how they feed their family.
Wait, Roogle, let her finish her thought, because you're cutting her off. Go ahead, Nick.
But like I said, the money is enough, and that's their job. But it's more so a motivation factor to make them want to go harder. I got to make it. I got to go to the playoffs, because you got that motivation.
Okay, go ahead, Roogle.
It's going to be really hard.
Okay, go ahead, Roogle.
The motivation should be the money, right?
Any other job, but in jobs like that, when it comes to a job like that, it's a motivation factor as well, because you're playing for your fans. Yeah, you playing for your paycheck, but you also playing for the fans. It's that notoriety and that recognition.
Go ahead, Roogle.
It sounds like your team is a bunch of narcissists.
There you go. Low blow.
Part of the show, it sounds like your team is a bunch of narcissists.
Who said anything about the team?
It's a triangle game, yo.
Whatever.
It sounds like those damn Steelers is part of a triangle game.
Look at him. Say anything.
Never gonna make it past that bench.
I think what you're actually saying is what I believe too. Some people feed off their adrenaline increases. They feed off the energy of the crowd. And if the crowd is not there, it might affect their game. Now, Roogle, you said the motivation is the check. So there are certain milestones that they need to reach in order to continue getting that check. So now their job is...
But they're supposed to be professionals. If you're a professional, then you're driven off of what your assignment is, what your job is, right? So, I mean, like, I just feel like this. It don't even mean nothing anyway.
Listen.
Like, it's not going to change the world if they play, if they don't play. It's not going to do anything. Is this a distraction to take away from the injustices that's happening all around us? Like, it doesn't, like, if the Browns win the Super Bowl, it may make me feel good because I cheered for a team all this year and they finally did what they should have did. But at the end of the day, it don't increase my pay. It don't do nothing for my life. It does nothing. But just makes this organization richer. An organization, for the most part, that is a nonprofit. Why in the world is the NFL a nonprofit? Right? Why? Why? What do they do?
Now let's shop talk. Go with it. Let's shop talk about it.
I mean, why? The whole thing is this. The whole thing is bull. Because my thing is, like, they want you to buy into this thing of what? How does it improve our lives when this company, who makes billions of dollars annually, is a nonprofit organization? How? Why? And then they give money to the United Way, right? The United Ways that only do certain things in certain communities. So I'm just saying, like, how does this, in the grand scheme of things, improve the quality of my life? It doesn't. So, I mean, like, I don't know. I went on the deep end.
You definitely did. You definitely did. For entertainment purposes. That's why. And that's how it increases our lives. Entertainment. And yes, it is a distraction. And it's a distraction. We need a distraction with the whole COVID and the whole politics, all of it. Roogle, what's happening in the movie world?
Man, I don't know what's with my song, but I don't know if you can hear me all right. Now, this is what's going on. The boy is on him. Now, unfortunately, I'm very upset about this.
I need you to turn the volume up. I think your volume went down or something. Because you're like really loud. There we go. Now what's happening in the movie world?
I'm having technical difficulties. The Boys Season 2 has released on Amazon. The issue with it, though, is that it's only giving us...
Oh, he's having technical difficulties.
Yeah, he froze.
So many episodes.
There you go. So I guess once Roogle, he'll be back once he get everything taken care of over there. Nick, any new movies did you watch?
No, but I did watch the tribute to watch Black Panther again last week with no commercial breaks on ABC and the tribute afterwards. Child, I was in tears because I mean, I knew he was a good actor, but I did not realize, and I don't think anybody realized the impact, and he probably didn't even realize it, the impact that he, especially once he got that role of Black Panther, he really impacted a lot of people's lives. And I didn't realize he was that admired by any of his castmates until we saw that tribute.
Well, so I did. I did. I realized the impact because that was our hero, Black Panther. And I'm not into the Marvel thing. Y'all got me into that to make me go see it. But that was our hero. And it was like, yeah, that was good. Did you see anything different? Is this the second time seeing it after seeing it at the theater? When you saw it on that tribute?
Listen.
How many times did you see Black Panther?
I watch it all the time.
Okay.
So but it was just the fact that because it was on ABC and they did it with no commercials and they just dedicated, you was able to watch the whole movie like you were at a movie theater and just watching it. Because I watch it all the time because I love that movie and because it was a score for Black people for a superhero.
Okay.
I didn't die.
I was that was the second time I watched it. I saw some differences, like at the end of it when the credits went and then they had the extra part in the movie. And I was like, oh, I missed that part, because everybody trying to get out and get to their car. Mm-hmm. I've always thought that he was a great Chadwick Boseman, for the people that don't know who we're talking about, that he was a great actor. I thought it was amazing that he got a scholarship. Well, actually, Denzel Washington paid his way for acting school to get into the elite school of arts.
Thanks to Felicia Rashad.
Yeah, but
she was his student, and she called Denzel.
But Denzel paid. And that's the thing. When you meet different people, you might be that person to connect individuals. And when he actually paid homage to Denzel, and he said there would be no Black Panther if there wasn't a Denzel Washington. And I thought it was amazing. And we need to understand that whatever it is that we're doing, we're standing on the shoulders of the people that came before us. And we need to pay homage to those people. And I thought it was amazing. So every time that I'm sure Denzel, even his offsprings or different people looking, because Denzel, let me tell you something, I don't care what nobody say. That training day, when he did that training day, I looked at Denzel in a whole different light, and I was like, he's good. The same way I looked at Angela Bassett in What's Love Got to Do with It with Tina Turner. I didn't, when you don't see that actor as that actor, that's when they are a good actor or actress. Because let me tell you, when the real Tina and Ike come up, I'm like, who was that? Like,
exactly. Like, for real?
It was Larry Fishburne, Lawrence Fishburne, and Angela Bassett.
Yeah,
and that
he
was
did that too.
Listen, that was the real Ike and Tina Turner. So when you see the real picture, you be like, who is that? Oh,
that wasn't them. You're like, yeah. But with Chadwick right there, this is the thing, and it's like people do it all the time when you sick and you don't feel good, and you say that right there. That man shot movies, and he went on and did what he had to do, and not one single solitary person knew that he was sick. And being a star, if they sick or if they even cough or get a cut, because you got the paparazzi there, and they being reported on TMZ. Oh, so and so tripped and fell and got a cut on. That man went through all of that, went to work, whether he had a smile on his face and in pain through surgeries, chemo, and did what he had to do and brought it to the screen every single time.
That's
really
a professional.
have a newfound respect for him, because he went through cancer and nobody knew. Lost all that weight and everything. And they said people was up there dogging him on his blog, talking about him losing weight and stuff like that. People, we need to realize sometimes, like, you don't know what a person is going through, and then you sitting there talking about them and dogging them out. And then it comes to this man passed away because he had colon cancer, and everybody's sitting there. And anybody that had anything smart to say about that man and his appearance as of, the last several months of his life or whatever, y'all all ought to feel like dogs for talking about this man.
Well, here's the thing. Everyone has opinions. Everyone has opinions, and they don't know. And some people gain weight or lose weight for certain roles. People who actually thought, what did they say? Somebody somewhere probably started off like a joke, and then they took it and they were saying that he was probably on drugs or whatever. That's somebody just saying something. Just like I asked the question, do you think that it's true or false as far as the Chicago Games? There are people that are out there that'll just put things out there, and you have to decipher, are you going to carry it, believe it, or not? Roogle, you back connected?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, tell us what's happening in the movie world.
Okay, what's going on is that Amazon has dropped the second season of The Boys. The Boys is a movie of a future where we have not a future, just a present where we have superheroes, but those superheroes are tied to corporate greed. And what did that mean for the citizens of the world? So what's going on in this second season? First of all, I'm kind of upset because I hope they would have dropped all the episodes, but they didn't. They only dropped 3, and then I got to tune in every damn week to watch another one, which is some bull. Okay. But anyway, I like where the story is going. I mean, it seems a little bit slower than the first season, and there's some things that I technically have a problem with. But overall, from what I saw right now, I would rate it as a B and worth watching. You know, I just wish it was all there at one time because now I expect that. I expected to give it to me all now, right now.
All right, what's the name of this again?
The Boys.
The Boys. And it's on Amazon?
On Amazon, yes. The other thing is that Mulan was also released. Now, the important thing about Mulan is that it was supposed to be a theatrical release that is now being released on Disney+. There is controversy, though. There is controversy. The lead actress, the person who actually plays Mulan, and I won't even attempt to pronounce her name because I want to mess it up. But the point was that in Hong Kong, she had tweeted or gave support to the Hong Kong police who have been under scrutiny because of police brutality. And so now what activists are saying in Hong Kong, Korea, and other parts of Asia is that they want to ban the Mulan movie because of this person's actions towards supporting what they call a suppressive regime that focuses on brutality. So I will tell you this: I started to watch the movie, I seen the article, and I stopped watching it. So I will.
So you were affected by the media.
Hey, all I'm saying is like this: I'm going to stand in solidarity with my brothers and sisters over there. If they're standing in solidarity, they said, "Hey, if you fight for social justice, you need to not watch this movie."
So you didn't watch it, all right?
I'm not watching it. I'm not reviewing it, and I'm just putting it out there that, like, you know, these people felt that strongly about it. And I could be wrong. I could be missing out on a great movie, but at the time it stands right now, I'm choosing not to watch it and stand in solidarity with my brothers and sisters in the East.
All right. So that's it for the movie world.
Lovecraft Country.
What?
Lovecraft Country is a HBO series that is the executive directors are J.J. Abrams of Star Wars, Star Trek fame, of recent rebooting those things, and Lost, and also Jordan Peele from Get Out, Us, Key and Peele, whatever, you know, all the stuff they've done. So what they've done is they got these books. There was these books, and basically what they adapted them to. It's a horror story, but it's an anthology, and they have these characters that are tied up in all of this craziness. Now, the great thing about it is like Chicago, 1950. You know, so like all the issues about racism and discrimination, all that stuff is definitely an antagonist in the plot. It's a great watch. It's a great watch for those who want to delve deeper into like getting a bird's eye view of what it was like to be in that during that time period, but also how they crafted to show that there is an evil. But there's also this ancillary thing of this racism and hate that also suppresses these main characters. Juicy Smollet's sister is excellent in it.
Oh, she's an excellent actress.
Journey Smollett.
Yes.
Is excellent.
And we remember her from Eve's Bayou.
Is excellent. Yeah. But Juicy Smollet's sister, man, she got it going on in there, man. She's excellent in it. And
I promise I ain't tell him to say that. Go ahead.
So shout out to Juicy Smollet's sister, Journey Smollett. She's doing a great job. But yeah, it's worth the watch. And the only thing I'm mad about it is that I can't gobble it all up and watch it all at one time. I gotta tune in every day a week. I can't take it. But outside of that, I've enjoyed what I've saw. I thought like one of the things talked about housing discrimination. I mean, it was awesome. There was one thing in there where the guy told him, well, this is a sundown county, if you know what that means.
I definitely know what that means.
Yeah.
That means that black people had to leave before dark. Don't let the dark see you. Otherwise, you was going to get killed. Okay?
Yeah.
Sound like Little Wissy, Georgia.
They have different... We got... Listen, again, I said it at the beginning of the show. You have to know your history. And my mother said this, and I'm sure it came from somewhere where they say, if you don't know your history, another old adage. If you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it. Please, 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 people, read. Reading is fundamental. When they said that, y'all thought it was a big joke. Listen, that is for real. You need that. That is your foundation. Read, and know where you came from, because you don't want your foundation weak. And then when you fall, who gonna pick you up? You just gonna be 6 feet under. Okay, today's footnote is people rarely remember what you say, but they always remember how you made them feel. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. I thoroughly enjoyed you, as I do each and every single Saturday. Find you, embrace you, most importantly, always love you. Until next week, people.